In the quiet pre-dawn hours of Medina, a profound question once echoed through the chambers of the Prophet Muhammad's home. He had experienced a vision, a glimpse into the unseen realm of paradise. There, amidst the ethereal beauty and boundless light, he heard a sound familiar yet utterly unexpected. The soft, rhythmic shuffle of footsteps. Whose footsteps could these be, resounding in the celestial gardens? The Prophet's heart knew, and soon his companions would too, as he sought the explanation from the man himself, a man whose life embodied unwavering faith against unimaginable odds. The morning after this celestial encounter, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, addressed his companions. He looked specifically to Bilal ibn Rabah, a man whose towering presence and resonant voice were known to all. "Tell me, Bilal," the Prophet inquired, "what is the most hopeful deed you have done in Islam?" This was no ordinary question, it was a testament to the extraordinary spiritual journey of Bilal, whose life story began far from the tranquility of Medina, in the harsh, unforgiving sands of pre-Islamic Mecca, as a man without freedom. Bilal ibn Rabah, born in Abyssinia, was an enslaved African man, brought to Mecca, where he served the powerful Umayyah ibn Khalaf. In a society deeply stratified by lineage, wealth, and power, Bilal occupied the lowest rung. His skin color, his status, everything about his earthly existence marked him for subservience. Yet, within him burned a spirit of resilience and an innate yearning for justice and truth. It was this inner fire that would soon connect him to a message that promised equality and liberation, not just in this world, but in the next. Pre-Islamic Mecca was a hub of trade and idolatry, but also of profound social inequality. Slavery was rampant, with enslaved individuals often treated as mere property, devoid of rights or dignity. The powerful Quraysh tribe controlled the city, upholding a system that benefited the elite and oppressed the vulnerable. For Bilal, life was a daily struggle, defined by servitude and the whims of his master. This backdrop makes his eventual embrace of Islam not just an act of faith, but a radical defiance against the very fabric of his oppressive reality. As the message of Islam began to spread quietly through Mecca, challenging the existing order and calling for the worship of one God, Bilal heard its whispers. He heard of a prophet, Muhammad, who preached equality, compassion, and the sanctity of all souls. The message resonated deeply with his innate sense of justice. Despite the immense personal danger, Bilal made a decision that would forever change his destiny. He embraced Islam. It was a secret act, a conversion of the heart, that he knew would invoke the wrath of his powerful master, Umayyah ibn Khalaf. Umayyah ibn Khalaf was a chieftain of the Quraysh, a staunch opponent of Prophet Muhammad, and Bilal's owner. He epitomized the Meccan aristocracy, deeply invested in the old ways, including idol worship and the social hierarchy that afforded him immense power. When he discovered Bilal's conversion, Umayyah saw it not just as a betrayal, but as a direct challenge to his authority and the traditions of his forefathers. His reaction was swift and brutal, aimed at breaking Bilal's spirit and making an example of him for any who dared to follow the new faith. The persecution of Bilal began with agonizing cruelty. Umayyah would drag Bilal out into the scorching Meccan desert, under the merciless midday sun. A heavy rock would be placed upon his chest, pinning him to the burning sand, making it impossible to breathe or move. Umayyah's demand was simple: renounce Islam and denounce Muhammad. The physical pain was excruciating, the dehydration relentless, but Bilal's tormentor sought to break more than just his body. He sought to shatter his spirit and force him to deny the one God he had come to love. But Bilal remained steadfast. With every breath, every ounce of strength, he would utter a single, defiant word: the Hod. Ahad. Meaning one. One. Referring to Allah, the one God. This declaration was not merely a chant, it was a profound testament to his unwavering monotheism, a rejection of the idols and polytheism that defined Meccan society. His voice, though weakened by torture, echoed with an unshakable conviction that resonated through the desert, confounding his tormentors and inspiring awe in those who secretly witnessed his suffering. What powered Bilal's extraordinary resilience? It was not brute strength, but an inner fortitude forged by faith. He understood that his suffering was temporary, but his belief in the one God offered eternal salvation. Each Bahad was a prayer, a surrender, and a declaration of ultimate victory over his tormentors, whose power was limited to this worldly life. His unwavering stance in the face of death sent a clear message: the truth of Islam was more precious than life itself, and no amount of pain could force him to abandon it. His spirit remained unbroken. Word of Bilal's horrific ordeal reached Abu Bakr, a wealthy and respected companion of the Prophet Muhammad and a devout Muslim. Abu Bakr, deeply moved by Bilal's suffering and steadfastness, could not stand by. He approached Umayyah ibn Khalaf and offered to purchase Bilal. Umayyah, seeing an opportunity to profit from his troublesome property, agreed. Abu Bakr paid a significant sum, more than Bilal's market value, to secure his freedom. This act of immense compassion marked a turning point, not just for Bilal, but for the fledgling Muslim community. Freed from the shackles of slavery and the torment of Umayyah, Bilal ibn Rabah became one of the first emancipated Muslims. He was no longer property, but a brother, revered for his sacrifices. He joined the small community of believers, dedicating his life wholly to Islam and to the Prophet Muhammad. His past status as an enslaved person was irrelevant. In the eyes of Islam, his faith and piety elevated him. This transformation from tortured slave to respected companion exemplified Islam's revolutionary message of equality and brotherhood, where status was determined by devotion, not lineage or wealth. Years later, after the migration to Medina and the establishment of the first Muslim state, the community faced a new challenge: how to call believers to prayer. The Prophet Muhammad considered various methods, but it was Bilal, with his strong, resonant voice, who was chosen for a task that would make him immortal. From the rooftop of the Prophet's mosque, Bilal ascended, and for the first time in history, his powerful voice cried out the adhan, the Muslim call to prayer. This was not just a call, it was a declaration, a symphony of faith that transcended time and space. Bilal's voice was uniquely beautiful, carrying with it the profound weight of his journey from torment to triumph. His adhan was not just a sequence of words, it was infused with the sincerity of his faith, the memory of his suffering, and the joy of his liberation. When Bilal called to prayer, hearts were stirred, and souls were drawn to Allah. He became the Prophet's dedicated muezzin, his voice an enduring symbol of Islam's universal message, heard 5 times a day, inviting people from all walks of life to connect with their Creator. His voice united a new community. Bilal held a special place in the Prophet Muhammad's heart and in the early Muslim community. He was not just the muezzin, he was a close companion, a confidant, and a testament to the power of unwavering faith. The Prophet famously said, "Bilal is the master of the muezzins." His status, once defined by servitude, was now defined by his profound piety and closeness to the Messenger of Allah. This elevation was a living example of Islam's emphasis on inner worth over external circumstances, a message that resonated deeply then, and continues to inspire millions today. This brings us back to that profound question from the Prophet: what is the most hopeful deed you have done in Islam? Bilal, ever humble, pondered for a moment. He knew his life had been filled with trials, triumphs, and ceaseless devotion. He thought not of his suffering, nor his iconic adhan, but of a simple, consistent act of worship that had become a cornerstone of his spiritual practice. His answer would reveal the profound simplicity and sincerity of his faith, the very essence of why his footsteps were heard in the highest echelons of paradise. Bilal's humble reply was, "I have not done any deed more hopeful than that I do not purify myself at any time during the day or night, except that I pray 2 rak'ahs, units of prayer, after that." This was his secret. Every time he performed wudu, the ritual ablution, he would immediately follow it with 2 voluntary units of prayer. This wasn't a mandatory prayer, but a spontaneous, loving response to Allah's call for purity and remembrance. It was a consistent act of devotion, born of a heart deeply connected to its Creator, performed without fanfare or expectation. This seemingly simple practice illuminated the depth of Bilal's love for prayer. It wasn't about grand gestures, but about consistency, sincerity, and a constant state of remembrance of Allah. His life of prayer was not just limited to the 5 obligatory calls, but extended into every moment of purification, turning routine acts into opportunities for profound communion. Bilal exemplified the Quranic verse, "And establish prayer for my remembrance." His commitment to these voluntary prayers demonstrated a heart perpetually inclined towards worship, seeking closeness to Allah in every possible way. Bilal's journey is a powerful testament to the triumph of faith over adversity. From the excruciating torture in Mecca to the honor of being the Prophet's muezzin, his life story inspires millions. His perseverance in the face of immense suffering, his steadfast declaration of Jihad, and his quiet, consistent devotion to prayer offer enduring lessons. He reminds us that true strength lies not in worldly power, but in an unwavering connection to the divine, and that the greatest honors are often reserved for those who remain humble and steadfast in their faith. Beyond his personal devotion, Bilal ibn Rabah became an enduring symbol of Islam's revolutionary message of equality. His rise from enslaved person to respected companion shattered the racial and social hierarchies of his time. In Islam, status is not determined by birth, race, or wealth, but by piety and good deeds. Bilal's life proved that a person of any background, with sincere faith and devotion, could achieve the highest spiritual stations and be honored in the eyes of God and His Messenger. He truly embodied the universal brotherhood that Islam championed. The narration from Sahih Muslim 2458 about Bilal's footsteps echoing in paradise is not merely a heartwarming anecdote, it is a profound validation of a life lived in complete submission and love for Allah. It signifies that actions, no matter how simple or personal, when performed with sincerity and consistency, hold immense weight in the divine scale. Bilal's daily wudu and 2 rak'ahs were not spectacular feats, but they were pure, consistent offerings from a devoted heart, earning him a unique and honored place in the eternal gardens. Bilal's story invites each of us to reflect on our own acts of devotion. Are there simple, consistent practices we can adopt to deepen our connection with the divine? It encourages us to find beauty in the routine, sincerity in the mundane, and to understand that true worship transcends grand displays, residing instead in the quiet, persistent turning of the heart towards its Creator. His life teaches us that even the smallest, most consistent acts, performed with genuine intention, can open the doors to the greatest rewards. The promise of paradise, heard in the footsteps of Bilal, is a powerful reminder for all believers. It assures us that suffering endured for the sake of Allah is never in vain, and that sincere devotion, no matter how humble, is eternally recognized and rewarded. Bilal ibn Rabah, the man whose feet once burned on the sands of Mecca, now walks in the gardens of eternal bliss, his legacy a beacon of hope, perseverance, and unwavering faith for generations to come. His story is a living testament to the divine justice and boundless mercy of Allah.